It's only the third El Sackio we've had this season. Even Moyes didn't manage that. I think it took him his whole career really to get 3 El Sackios. Certainly remember there's one near the end. There was certainly another one very early doors against, I think it was Frank Lampard at Everton actually. Then there was another one, Steven Gerrard. Oh, yeah, I mean that's really odd, that one, because the Steven Gerrard one he lost. Gerrard got sacked. It wasn't too long after that Aston Villa appointed Unai Emery. Sliding doors moment there. Anyway, Lopetegui impressively is on his third El Sackio. To be fair, he's got a good record, much like Moyes. He's already seen off Ten Hag, hasn't he? That much is for certain. Couldn't be playing a better team, really, in Wolves, but Wolves will be thinking we couldn't be playing a better team than West Ham. You know, West Ham are very much a wounded animal at the moment, and so are Wolves, no pun intended. As I've mentioned already in the last day or two, I prefer Gary O'Neill's demeanour than the browbeaten look of a man like Julen Lopetegui. And it's going to have been a really, really tough time for him on the training grounds. There's no doubt about that at all. I think ordinarily, even just because we've seen before when managers have had sort of 3 games, been given 3 games, and generally it never gets to the 3rd game. I can't remember when it ever has, as something's happened quite early on, and then the reset button gets pressed again. I don't think we've ever had it so definitive where we've been told this is it, there's one more game, it's his cup final, it's must win. Really strong words, really strong language. That in itself would be pressure enough under these circumstances, but actually factor in that he's had falling outs with players on the training pitch or in the dressing room or whatever. That's hard. It would be hard enough to galvanise. How do you galvanise not even a team of footballers, just a room full of people when they know that you're probably going to be off? Nobody believes he's going to be here for the remainder of the season. I think it's really hard. I think at least Gary O'Neill has that element of doubt in his players' mind where they think, well, maybe he will still be around. But he doesn't have the clear-cut, definitive answer that maybe Lopetegui has. And I know there'll be people that say, well, hold on, they'll never do it, the board will never do it anyway. But, and you may well be right, and you may have a point, but I can't remember a time really when a manager's been told it as well, you know. And the manager's been told it, the press has been told it, the players know it, everyone knows it. This is tough. And I'll say about Wolves being sort of the right club at the right time, we can get a win against them, but they can beat us, make no mistake about it. I mean, there is an element of our loss against Leicester. I mean, Leicester have shown with their draw against Brighton that they're okay. And we actually, it turns out we ended up losing to a team that are probably going to be okay, but that doesn't particularly help us. And I've looked at that league table. I think Leicester are only 1 point behind us now, which is not, it's bad, it's really, really bad. Obviously, we've got a game in hand, which is tomorrow, and we have to win it. And we do have to win that game. Really do have to win that game, because it looks like there's been a split and a separation of the Premier League. 3/4 of the Premier League are broken away. There's a gap. Ironic, it's ridiculous actually. Not ironic, it's ridiculous that Manchester United are the team just above us. And I mean, there are 19 points now. We lose this game, it's not just about Lopetegui. I think you are looking at not so much a write-off season, because, you know, teams have come back from worse than that and qualified for Europe. But they've been decisive teams. They've been teams that have taken action, immediate action, a clear, concise objective, mandated the new guy coming in with very, very clear instructions. And I'm not necessarily sure that we would do that. There's been a lot of rumours over the last couple of days in terms of managers. But yeah, just looking at the other teams there, looking at teams like Bournemouth who we've got coming up, and I think they went 1 down to Ipswich, didn't they, and then came back to win. You look at Fulham again and getting a draw against Arsenal, and not just getting a draw against Arsenal, but actually looking at Marco Silva coming up with a cohesive plan to thwart Arsenal's set-piece routine. And obviously it was partly effective for a part of the game, but they got away with a draw. He had a tactical plan, and you're looking at these teams, and I picked Bournemouth and Fulham because they're 2 managers that I think West Ham could possibly get, because I do still think West Ham are an attractive club. I flip between the two. Sometimes I think West Ham are an attractive club. Look at all the budget we got to spend. Then I look at the way the club's run. I think if I was a manager, I'm thinking that'd be bad for my career to go there. So it's hard to say. But I look at Bournemouth and I look at Fulham and I think they're light years ahead just at what they're doing. They're so far ahead. They really are. It's weird. It's weird. I often wonder at the club that they see everyone. It's almost like everyone else is driving around in these Teslas. Honestly, we're driving around in an old Vauxhall Vectra or so, or a Ford Sierra or something like that, and we're thinking, oh, hold on, what's going on here? That's what we're like. We seem so antiquated, and trust West Ham to get an antiquated coach and an already antiquated system and working environment. But anyway, it just does look like those teams are not only have they broken away, but they just look so much more advanced than us. Like you're glimpsing the future. It's the present, but it's like you're glimpsing the future, and we're the past. So big game, just really, really big game for us actually. But still we're linked to managers. Two managers actually. It seemed to be a 2-horse race, but sort of late yesterday it turned into a 3-horse race. Well, we'll get to that in just a second. Before I do, can I please point in the direction of today's video sponsor, Match Bingo. If you've not got Match Bingo downloaded to your phone, why not? Well, probably because you're under 18, because it is a betting app you're not allowed to. But if you are 18 and over and you don't have it, get it downloaded to your phone. If you already do have it, and it's highly likely if you're watching this video, then go and check your phone, check your account, because you might have some credits in there. If you don't have credits in there and you want to play, today's a great day to get going, because you can buy your bingo card for the West Ham v Wolves match. There's 15 different things that can happen on the card. It's a £250 pot, and we have had over 100 winners just from you guys that watch these videos. We've been saying over 100 winners for a long time now. It's well over that. Really good offer at the moment. Deposit £10, you get £10 for free. The cards are only £2 per play. £2 per play. Makes it sort of interesting when the game's going on. It's nothing extravagant, don't worry. You've got things for throw-ins, a kick-off, things that are going to happen during a game. It's not, you're not going to not win any money because your card is going to say, West Ham must score 6 goals. Nothing like that. Give it a go. Links in the description below anyway. Let me have a swig of my tea, if you don't mind. It's a good one. It's always a good one. I don't make a bad cup of tea. If I do, I pour it down the sink. Anyway, FOMO. FOMO, the fear of missing out. You know about FOMO? Of course you do. FOMO, anyone can give a different definition for FOMO. FOMO for me is maybe something that you quite like, but you don't necessarily want. You certainly don't need. But just because someone else is going to get it, you've got a fear of missing out. So you think, oh, actually, I do want that. I think West Ham have got Graham Potter FOMO. So I've had to cast my mind back to last year. About a year ago, David Moyes was under massive pressure. Graham Potter was put forward as one of the names that West Ham might look to try and appoint, interview. And the club, top sources at the club, turned around and said, no, we don't want him. We very much think that Graham Potter's excellent stint at Brighton, it was excellent, was down to a recently unemployed Dan Ashworth and, of course, Tony Bloom. I remember it very, very well. Very, very well indeed. And so it was completely and utterly dismissed. So what's happened between now and then? Well, it's certainly nothing that Graham Potter's done as a manager, because he's been out of work. He's not repaired his reputation anymore since he left Chelsea. So he obviously did really well at Brighton and failed at Chelsea. Obviously, Brighton wasn't his first club, as we know. But anyway, that's really what got him noticed. So what's happened since then? What's happened since then to change West Ham's mind? I can only think it's FOMO. Why would you change in a year someone you think, no, he was only successful because of the infrastructure around him. So I think he's the guy for us. It wasn't just him anyway. So apparently it's him. Carrick I discussed yesterday, but then somebody chucked Allegri into the mix. Allegri. Now he's out of work at the moment, but apparently he doesn't want to take the West Ham job yet, but he's agreed to take it. Which means he doesn't want to do it mid-season, wants to take it at the end of the season, which I guess you can understand. which means West Ham are looking for somebody on a 6-month contract. Now, the other day, I made the case for 6-month contract being a good thing. Take Potter as an example. I don't want him, but we'll use him as an example. I do think he's damaged goods. I think he does 6 months at West Ham. If he's anywhere near as good as he thinks he is, then he'll do really well, and the club will say, do you know what, we're going to give you a new deal. That's how I think a 6-month contract works. Just a 6-month contract just to be a caretaker when you know someone else is coming in, I don't think that does work. There's no incentive. You've got to dangle the carrot, right? You've got to at least say to somebody, look, I'll give you 6 months. If you do well, we're going to give you the job. We'll give you a 2-year deal or whatever the case may be. You can't just expect people to join, and then I guess you can. There'd be some that would. David Moyes did under such circumstances, but to be fair, David Moyes definitely thought he was getting the job afterwards. Definitely thought he was. So I think there's there's different things there. But it's I'm way past believing that West Ham are going to do anything like that. To be honest with you, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. It's all on tonight's game. Obviously got a number of decisions to make. Be interested. I'll tell you what is going to be interesting is the Todibo situation. So obviously he's had a falling out with Todibo. Some people say it was just an argument. Some people say it came to blows. We'll never know. We'll never know the truth because none of us were in the dressing room. Unless you're Todibo watching this video, in which case, bonjour, obviously. And you know the truth, don't you? Jean-Clair, you know what's been going on. We need to ask ChatGPT. So, do you know what? I almost forgot. I'll do it really quickly. A lot's gone on. Since we last spoke to her. Right, hold on a second. Hold on. It takes a little while. I'd actually completely forgotten. Hello, ChatGPT. I would like to know who you think is going to win tomorrow night's game, Premier League football, West Ham United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. One of the two managers is going to get sacked. What do you think is going to happen?
It's always tough to predict football matches, especially when both teams are under pressure. Given the circumstances, it could be a tense game with both teams fighting hard for a win. West Ham might have a slight edge playing at home, but Wolves have shown they can be dangerous. As for a manager potentially getting sacked, it often depends on more than just one game, but a poor result could certainly increase the pressure. What's your take on it?
It is just one game. I'll tell you now, Mrs. ChatGPT, Julen Lopetegui is the West Ham head coach. He's been given one game to save his job. He has to win. What do you think?
With that kind of pressure on Lopetegui, it's going to be a high-stakes match for sure. If the board has made it clear that his job is on the line, we can expect him to pull out all the stops to secure.
I wonder what you were going to suggest he was going to pull out then.
Well, I was going to say all the tactical stops, but it did sound a bit ambiguous, didn't it? Let's hope whatever he pulls out leads to a strong performance from West Ham.
Oh, you're good. I gotta say, I'm even talking to you like you're a real person, saying you're good. I'm very impressed. Would you like to be a regular contributor on my YouTube channel? I run a YouTube channel, you know.
Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying our chat. I'd be honoured to be a regular contributor to your YouTube channel. What kind of content do you have in mind?
Well, I talk about football, funny enough, but I go off on tangents as well, you know.
That sounds like a fun challenge. I can help with analysis, commentary, or even some of those tangents. Whatever you need, I'm here to add some flair to your content.
Okay, I'll give you one then. Do you like pizza with a tomato base or a barbecue base?
Ooh, tough choice. I'd say a classic tomato base is hard to beat for that traditional pizza flavour. But a barbecue base can be a fun twist when you're in the mood for something different. How about you?
Yeah, I don't like the barbecue stuff. Look, I'm going to have to go now because I'm a bit pressed for time. We've got a match tonight. But you're winning me over, Mrs. ChatGPT. I've got to be honest with you. You're winning me over. I've had worse conversations with this on my phone. I can tell you that. I'm going to say goodbye now. Would you like to say anything to my subscribers?
I'm glad to hear I'm growing on you. To your subscribers, I'd say thanks for tuning in. Stay passionate, stay curious, and keep the football banter alive. See you in the next one.
This is ChatGPT, boys and girls. Did she? I don't think no, she said West Ham would win, didn't she? She didn't get a score prediction. She's a bit evasive, this one, with the old score predictions. What did I say? I think Wolves going to win. I do, but I don't know. I sound like a... Anything could happen in these high stakes, tense games of Premier League football. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there we go. I tell you what, this is frightening. This is whatever Chat 5.0. It's like the old shaver, isn't it? When it's like 10 points, there's no Hammers Chat, there's no Gonzo. I don't know why. She's basically going to replace me. I don't even need to be here, do I? Really? She even did a little bit of. I think she did a bit of innuendo. She called it ambiguous, but I think we know what it really, really was. Anyway, I'll catch you later for the build-up show. Hour and 5 minutes before kick-off. Got the watch-along. So anyone watch any boxing channels? Carl Froch, he's got a channel, Froch on Fighting. When he does a watch-along, he calls it a Froch-along. It's genius. It's genius. Anyway, we'll be doing our own version of the Froch-along. We should have done it with Gio. Should be the Scotch-along, shouldn't it? Have we gone so long without doing that one? Anyway, she would have known. She would have known. Bloody Miss ChatGPT, Miss bloody clever knickers there. Probably got no. Hey, doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it there.